Hey, welcome to the Concept Vibes channel. TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. I just wanna let you know you're welcome to the Concept Vibes channel. TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Put your comments down below. Much love to all the viewers out the video. This here is a TikTok reaction show. Don't give any
It's your boy LED, and we back with part 2. Y'all know what it is, Super Bowl responses and breakdowns. You ready? Let's go. Concept.
Fine, Thomas, it's good. Just make sure that mic's close. All right. And sir, if you don't mind, the microphone. Oh. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. What up?
You don't have to rush the line.
Okay. Cool.
So Dave, we're saying this facing this way now, right?
Yeah. Salutations! It's your Uncle Sam, and this is the Great American Game. No! Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play this game? Then take now!
Damn, that's good. But damn, that's good.
I see you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct a life. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. Ah, you're almost there. Don't mess this up. Thanks, Sean. You coming at it. No, man. Glad to be here.
Right, for sure. And that's funny. That's so funny. All this shit is like, bro, it's just like, it's so random, like, all this shit, bro. I'll see how niggas.
Man, can you imagine rehearsing for a show like that?
Let's break down the visuals of Kendrick Lamar's performance. This is all straight up opinion of mine. I am a theater nerd. I studied a lot of performance theory and the way that a performance structure can elicit an emotional response from an audience. But this is all just coming out of my own brain, okay? Okay, the fact that we open up on like a tic-tac-toe game just means that we're all pawns, right? Then we get Samuel L. Jackson being Uncle Sam, the most gorgeous thing ever. He's setting the stage by talking about how like the government wants people to be quiet, specifically Black Americans to be quiet. Then we have the most incredible car moment ever. This is literally iconic. Like 100 people get out of the car. Samuel L. Jackson is also kind of ringleader of the circus, and we have our clown car moment. But I also think that this harkens back to like other eras of rap where so much about what people would write was about like driving around with your friends. I don't know why this like image really spoke to me with all of the gals in red behind him for this moment in the very beginning. It was a little bit like death was chasing him. I don't know. Then we have probably the most incredible 30 seconds of like visual performance that I've maybe ever seen. Samuel L. Jackson pops back in to be like, hey, wait, don't do ghetto music. Then everybody comes in and they do like an incredible depiction of the flag. It's also very like Squid Game, which didn't come to me. And somebody put it in my comments last night and I was like, oh, it is. We keep coming back to imagery that like we are all pawns in the game. They are all pawns in the game to be leveraged for whoever's in charge. This is incredibly iconic. It also is really interesting. Of course, he's standing in the middle. He's splitting the flag in two. Can't get enough of this imagery. Then we have the flag like ripping to shreds, right? It all comes out on the street. Iconic imagery, right? Of many rappers who've gone before him, of him and his friends at like on the street light hanging out. Then Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, culturally iconic moment. You're here with your homies. And then he says, deduct one life. And this to me can mean a lot of things. It can mean that there is violence in the streets. It can mean police brutality. It can also mean incarceration. which is what I think it means, because I think this whole suite is jail. Everywhere we turn, there's a ton of people in a small enclosed space. It's like you can see out of the walls, but they can't get out of there. And they have become one of the big pawns, one of the big plays on the tic-tac-toe board. Then we're back on the outside and we're in this insane wheel that everyone is walking to. No one can get off. It is just a hamster wheel. It goes all the way down, so it looks like you're going somewhere. Then there's stairs right back up and you're stuck in the same circle. We're all stuck in that same system. Black Americans are stuck in that same system. And to me, this is over-incarceration, over-policing. And now that everybody's behaving really nicely, Uncle Sam is happy. He's like, you're almost there, just don't fuck it up. And then he comes out and does not like us, which is, that was such a great moment. And I'm obsessed with all of this. The flag is in tatters. People are all over the place. The moment where a ton of people drop down to in death, it was really incredible and stuck out in my mind, because there are people who look like they're like surrendering, and then there are people here who are dead in the street. Police brutality. Seeing Serena Williams dance during the Drake diss track, because she used to date him, is like incredible. And we end with him being like, turn the TV off 1,000 times, turn the TV off. Like, you tuned in to see me. There's nothing else to see here. Don't subscribe to all this. Anyway, this is long, but those were all my thoughts on that.
Yo, let me know in the comments what y'all think about her breakdown.
This video is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken literal. Yo, it's Bam Bam Mo back with Media Now. Not only was the Super Bowl just symbolic in terms of us awakening, or the mass consciousness awakening to, on a global scale, to what's going on in reality, right? They not like us. That's why he kept saying, they not like us. They not like, he's making it clear as day that the opposition is not just Drake. It's bigger than that. So, but also on the dual side of that, we could say that why would they want Kendrick Lamar to be performing at the Super Bowl if these higher ups, so to speak, are the ones that are in charge? And I'm gonna say it like this, because remember, energy has to always, they have to try to direct the energy a certain way. They can't just go out and just kill somebody or do this or do that. I mean, unalive somebody, sorry. They have to be able to, manipulate the energy in a certain way to get to collect this energy or siphon energy from souls or from people. So when you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, the reason I say this is that they may try to sacrifice him, or they may try to do something to him because of the influence that he's having on the people. You understand? I'm gonna make y'all see it like this. So and when he talks to Drake, or he's, having all these disses to Drake, he pretty much saying that y'all not like us, because he's talking about not just the colonizers, but the ones that sent the colonizers and different things like that. He's talking about they not like us. So he's obviously creating a division between the ones who are for God and the ones who are not for God. If you can clearly comprehend it, that's why he always talking about, in certain songs you hear him say that he's talking to archangels, especially Gabriel, and you see him talk about, he has children named after archangels. I want y'all to understand that when you're dealing with somebody that is a Hebrew Israelite, or you're dealing Hebrew Israelite, or you're dealing with somebody that is a order that stands for right knowledge and right understanding of oneself and love of God, then you're always going to have the opposition, because they want to try to tear you down, but they want to do it in a manner like they have to do it behind the scenes. They have to do it so slick sly, like, oh, let me put this in front of your face because I can't lie to you. That's the law of the universe. But then behind your back, I can go and try to manipulate it to make it seem like, you're not shit, or you're not doing this, or you're not doing this or that, right? So that's the hands that they pull a lot of times. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I'm gonna be very frank with you. We all know how much he is getting loved by everybody right now. So when people go like, and I mess with Casanet, but let's be honest, why is Casanet talking negatively on Kendrick Lamar, knowing what he's doing for the people, but you want to bring up all this other stuff? Then you have Drake and many others that are paying these outlets to try to make it seem like their performances are better than his performance on the Super Bowl, or it was quiet during the Super Bowl. It was low, you feel what I'm saying? All this goofy stuff, right? They do this because they trying to manipulate you through the energy, through what they're saying and what they're speaking, and what they're trying to get you to force you to believe through what you see. So a lot of times this is the whole plan, is the whole game, is the whole, gist of the things is to grab the attention of the masses and try to sway this attention the direction they want to sway it. But remember, you can't sway us at this point. We already woke, you feel me? This is why we making these videos. Y'all stay lit, stay active, stay woke, stay loving God, stay in tune with source.
Alright, my boy had like a spiritual breakdown, you know what I mean? Like, let me know what y'all think about his spiritual angle with the breakdown.
Bro, the Kendrick performance was bad, bro. Y'all so focused on trying to make Drake look bad. Where was the songs that made you you? Where was the if I made my time I better you still love me? Where was that joint? Why you ain't bring Rihanna out? Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Why you ain't bring the van out? The burgundy van. Where was me and mine is trying to get it, yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. Where was I am a sinner, who probably gonna sin again? Lord, where was that? Where was all my life I want money and power, respect my bro? Where was we gonna be all right? We gonna be all right. Yo, it was bad, bro. Cause y'all focus on trying to make Drake look bad, and you ain't even performed none of the songs that made you you. The performance was bad. It was bad. I don't care who don't like whatever. It was bad. It was bad.
Yo, do my boy know what year it is? Like, catch up, my youth. You're one of them surface boy then.
Rolling the FYP, and of course the Kendrick stuff is coming my way. I'm gonna tag this creator in the caption, but she made it clear to me that when he did Man at the Garden, that was his dad homies behind him, his angels, all throughout the performance. So I just rewatched it for the first time. Only time I saw the performance was Sunday. He said there were 10 people behind him and then 6 lampposts, and I didn't notice until this rewatch that it was a homie on each lamppost. Throughout the whole show, their only job was to sit there and watch over him. I'm trying real hard. That's gonna get me emotional, bro. Because I cannot stress enough, if you ain't from this, you ain't gonna get it, bro. If you ain't lose nobody to the senseless killing, you ain't gonna get it. Oh, God. And then the other 10, so 6 were on the light post, and the other 10, I'm gonna try to get through this, man. And the other 10 were behind him making the beat on the test, and you know, the dope. And they cheesing the whole time with the grill, but they making the beat. They doing the quartet for the dope. They supporting him. He got, oh God, he got his dad homie supporting him and watching over. Why? As I said, look up at these lampposts. I like to imagine the people I've lost watching over me, man. That's why hip hop ain't something to play with, bro. This ain't nothing to play with. Just on the phone with my boy today saying, I got a project coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. I know it's going to be on the internet. I want to cosplay. I want to dress like us. I want to talk like us, but you don't want what come with being from here. You don't want this. You don't want this. The results and the symptoms that come from being marginalized, the results of systematic and systemic oppression, 40 acres and a mule, this is deeper than rap. Don't come over to this culture and play with it. Don't you play with this.
Yo, a very culturistic, angelic breakdown and an emotional response. You've been through something.
You really about to do it?
40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. What? Beat your and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score.
All right, I'm not somebody who watches the Super Bowl. I will wholeheartedly admit it. I will see highlights later. I'm fine with that. I'm not a big sportser, but I am down with the entertainment. So the halftime show, I know I'm going to catch it later. And this year, I've cut it over and over and over again. And there's 2 sides, just like everything. We have to have all these sides to it, right? And we got to argue with each other. So let's talk about that, because that's really what this is about, is a whole big argument. Now, there's a lot of hidden messages in the performance, and I love it. I absolutely love it. This reminded me actually of the video This Is America by Childish Gambino. Each time you watch it, you're going to see some new hidden message just hiding in there, acorns all over the place. I'm seeing a lot of people say that the performance was lackluster. Like, oh, this was so lame and what a horrible performance. I mean, I disagree because artistically speaking, it hit the mark. And maybe you just don't understand what it is that are in those hidden meetings. Like, I mean, even the start of this video opening up 40 acres and a mule. Like, do you even know what that's about? I mean, that's the history that they want to erase. But here we are, 40 acres and a mule, which was promised to each person who was enslaved in this country. But did that happen? No. Now, that's an entire history lesson that I could walk you through later, but right now, let's talk about today. Because today, we're seeing comments about the performance that look like this. DEI halftime show. Yeah, that's not meant kindly, meaning it's a shitty show put on by a person of color. I'm pointing that out. So it has to be DEI higher, which makes zero sense. At a football game where you have a rapper performing. But hey, be racist all you want. Let's just say first off, DEI does not mean you're forcing people into jobs that are not capable of doing those jobs. No, you are taking people who may have the same resume or even better than people who are, white and have a walking chance to get in just because of how they appear. That should have been common sense, but you see, the thing is, DEI here in the States, for the minority people, oh, no. But in South Africa, yes. Why is that? Well, because the DEI in South Africa benefits white people. And of course, the current administration and the dude who happened to walk in the door of the current administration without a proper pass has a vested interest in keeping those white people rich in South Africa. Yeah, that's right. The minority in that case is the rich. The minority in South Africa holds most of the property. The minority in the United States holds the least property. You see the difference? So they want to keep the rich richer. Not just here, but in other countries. I mean,
I like how she broke down DEI.
Okay. What's up, everybody? It's 1:20 in the morning, and I've just gone down a crazy rabbit hole. Today's been a very interesting day. I think I may have figured out what this is from Kendrick's performance. Okay, so bear with me because it's fairly complex and I went through a lot of different things trying to figure this out. I'm not a numbers person, I'm a visual person, but I was like, there's got to be something to this. So as I started looking at all of this, I started calculating sections and what each section had, okay? So yellow is representing white and then obviously red and blue. So in this section we had 6 white, 10 red, 14 blue, 12, 7, 2, 9, 8, and 13. Can't tell, I'm getting old. Here's what these numbers indicate, okay? 30, 50, and 30. So I thought, well, that's interesting. Like, what does that mean? Well, 30 and 50, divide those together, that is 0.6. This follows in line directly with the 3/5 Compromise, which was an agreement reached in 1787 for the Constitutional Convention that counted enslaved people as 3/5 of a person for taxation and representation. Why is this important? Because the compromise gave slave states more representation in the House of Representatives, which led to the Civil War. The 14th Amendment in 1868 explicitly abolished the 3/5 Compromise. So that meant, so the southern states wanted to enslave people to be counted for representation, but not taxation because they were viewed as property. And the northern states were against counting enslaved people for representation, but agreed to tax them. As a result, southern states had additional influence on the presidency, the speakership of the House, and the Supreme Court until the American Civil War. Okay, so I could be really far-fetched with all of this. I understand that. Because there still is the one indicating here, which is Kendrick, right? And he adds one more. So maybe he's the one that's giving out this information, the one that's going to bring everybody together. I don't know, because if you add all of them up, it's 110, which there's a lot of significance with the number 110. But then you add one, and you've got 111, which there's a lot of angel numbers that go with 111. I don't know. I'm very curious if anybody can get on this train with me, because it makes sense, but it's also almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I somehow have traveled down this rabbit hole. But if that's what it means, genius. Absolutely genius.
Alright, my boy came with the numbers on this breakdown. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that, and if you got something to add to it.
Am I the only one that didn't understand what was actually going on in this halftime show? After being called ignorant on multiple platforms, I decided to go and do some research and try to decipher what was really happening in this. I came across a Facebook post that said, if you didn't understand, then it wasn't meant for you. It wasn't meant for me. Why? Because I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar? Or it wasn't meant for me because I couldn't hear exactly what he was saying because the mic was so low? Was that the purpose? This Facebook post goes on to state, the song Not Like Us is a diss track towards Drake for being a pedo and linking him to Diddy and the Diddy party and allegations. I'm all for dissing pedos. How about you? Further goes on to say, Samuel L. Jackson played the part of Uncle Sam, meaning the government. Uncle Sam goes on to state, greetings and salutations. This is your Uncle Sam, and this is the great American game, meaning this is the game of politics, not the game of football. My interpretation of this is that we're all politically brainwashed based on what channel of media we consume on a daily basis. On some of the lesser known songs, Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson states, that's too loud, that's too reckless, that's too ghetto. However, when SZA comes on, nice and shiny, shaking that peach, the crowd erupt. The point is, nobody cheered for the songs that actually have some meaning. But you put a nice shiny toy out in front of everybody, and everybody goes wild. My new understanding has changed. Now that I've read this and I've conversated with people, I think this was a political call out of our government as a whole and how they show us one thing over here and then do something different over there overall. No matter, this performance was a call out of our government and a wake up call for us. Maybe this was confusing on purpose, because this sure does have all of us talking about it today, doesn't it?
Hey yo, big shout out to that man. Curiosity, open-mindedness, ability to research, and ability to upgrade his awareness.
What in the Sam Fudge is this dude even singing? I don't understand a fudging word is coming out of his mouth.
What in the Sam Fudge is... Let me tell you something, boy. I understand all Spanish. Muy poquito español me hablo. But it don't make me act like that when I hear it. I don't automatically disrespect it when I hear Spanish just because I don't understand it. I still eat tacos and burritos. I still dance to it. Spanish girls still look good. Stop being a hater, man. Open up your life. You're saying, live a little. It's okay. Come out of the box, boy. Have respect for other people culture. Understand that America is a multicultural country. Huh? It's a multicultural country.
A white conservative man took to Twitter and decided to post that there was no white representation during Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Are you telling me you want diversity? Are you telling me you want equity? And are you telling me you want inclusion?
I mean, there was white representation. Uncle Sam is white. He was just played by a black man, which shouldn't be a problem because, you know, samurais aren't white, but Tom Cruise was able to play the last one.
The people in that stadium aren't gonna know that music. Well, you're just sharp as a beach ball, ain't ya? He knows that. He knows that. I promise you Kendrick knows that. We all know that, actually. You're not introducing any new information here. In fact, you're a little late to the game on that one, buddy. Two things. One, you should know this by now. The majority of the Super Bowl's audience is not in the stadium. Ergo, dummy, the halftime show isn't just for the people in the stadium. So if a lot, not all, but a lot of the rich people who could actually afford to be in the stadium wouldn't know the music and he chose to do it anyway, then that brings me to number two. It's baffling that you can be standing on the point and still manage to miss it. You should go on America's Got Talent with that one. Golden buzzer right there. You got my vote.
Kendrick know what he doing. It was premeditated.
Don't let them gaslight you. Kendrick Lamar might have the worst Super Bowl halftime show. I see some trying to defend the performance, calling it symbolism, with the color scheme and Samuel Jackson being portrayed as Uncle Sam, with some viewing it as a message to the corrupt government and to the American people instead of what it was meant to be, an entertaining and enjoyable halftime show. But in my opinion, those people are looking way too deep into it. It had an American scheme because it was tailored to the American people. This was an American halftime show. Of course, you were going to see some American symbolism. We all know what this halftime show truly was for Kendrick. It was just for him to get the last laugh in this beef. Which, yeah, Kendrick, congrats. You might have got the last laugh, but Drake might be enjoying the fact that nobody enjoyed that halftime show. So for anyone calling this symbolism, I have different opinions. And that's not even mentioning what I thought was an embarrassing moment for Serena Williams. A 43-year-old woman glorifying a gang with the Crip Walk that supposedly had altercations with her sister. Like, not the time nor the place, but the crowd says it all. Nobody's singing along, hardly anybody's dancing, with this literally being the vibe in most American households during that halftime show. But let me know what y'all think. Will this go down as the worst Super Bowl performance of all time?
Yeah, I'm glad you used terms like I thought and in my opinion.
The same people who didn't understand Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl halftime show are the same ones who didn't understand Colin Kaepernick. You didn't understand the message because you didn't care to understand the message. You just saw someone who looked different than you, who only wanted equal rights. Oh, by the way, you shouldn't have seen Kendrick Lamar anyway, because you all said you were going to boycott the NFL. Y'all number a bunch of hypocrites.
Kendrick says it's bigger than the music. And I guess Kaepernick was saying it's bigger than football, bigger than sports.
Listen, I didn't want to do this, but people keep asking for my thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. I'll be brief, and I'll just point out a few things that may have been missed. Now, there have been very good videos about the symbolism in the halftime show, but here are a few things that I think people may have missed. You've seen things about the meaning of the 16 stars on Samuel L. Jackson's coat. But if you add the 16 stars from the coat to the 16 stars on the hat, you get 32. 32 is the number of teams in the NFL. It is the Super Bowl halftime show, right? You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. While this may be in reference to Kendrick, while this may be in reference to 45, 47, It is also in reference to the New York Giants choosing Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. They kept Jones. He didn't even make it through the whole season. Meanwhile, Saquon broke records, made history, and got a ring. They didn't think that through. The bell-bottom jeans. Bell, Liberty. Liberty, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Eagles. He was just predicting the game. The dancers in red, white, and blue, while yes, they were referencing the American flag, they were also referencing the bomb pop. Kendrick may be the bomb. He won't go pop. He might blow up, but he won't go pop. He might blow up, but he won't go pop. One of my favorite references was Say Drake, because people automatically think Drake, the rapper, the artist. But no, it was actually about Sir Francis Drake, who was famous for circumnavigating the globe. Kendrick's tour with SZA that's coming up, they're going to add more dates. It's going to be a world tour. They're going to circumnavigate the globe. Drake, Francis, Scott Key, the Star Spangled Banner, which leads us back to that red, white, and blue. Y'all aren't. Last but not least, the dancers that were on the streetlights was a reference to De La Soul. Ain't nothing street about me, more like a light post, shining above all who are y'all to boast. Nah, for real though, February 12th was the 2nd anniversary of Dave's passing. Rest in peace, Trugoy the Dove. Thank you, Dave. Salute. It's just my interpretation of the situation.
Hey, yo, his breakdown was different. I never heard nobody talk about what he talked about. He counted them stars on the chest and the hat. But what about the bow tie?
This wasn't a protester. This was a hired backup dancer. I kept seeing reports that there was a protester that interrupted the show, and I've been doing a deep dive into all the hidden Easter eggs during the halftime show. I realized that this was, in fact, a hired performer. He had a 400-person crew, so it was one of those 400 people. To put all the other symbolism from the show into perspective, I just kind of wonder if this was planned at all by anyone else on the inside or not. The fact that it was a hired backup dancer just makes it so much better for me. NFL has confirmed that the person was detained. Okay, like whatever, I get that. I feel like protesters and like streakers are detained all the time at sports events, but that he has been banned from all NFL events for life and is gonna possibly face charges. And I'm like, okay, but all he did was hold up a flag with the name of 2 countries and hearts. How is that violent? But all that aside, this was just further testament to me that the absolute best art thrives under times of oppression, and I do not know that we will ever get a Super Bowl halftime show that amazing, with that much meaning, and this diabolical of a grin ever again.
That's crazy. Like, it's just a flag. Like, if I'm holding up a flag, it might not necessarily be for a protest. Maybe I got family in other countries on this same planet that we're all on, and I just want to represent that.
Zulkarnain Nantambu, the performer who raised a Sudanese-Palestinian flag during Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show, has no regrets about his protest, which he says was a message of solidarity with the victims of conflicts in Sudan and Gaza. The self-proclaimed freedom fighter explained that his actions were inspired by his faith in Islam, not politics. Nantambu, who had been hired as a participant in the show and was involved in the Super Bowl preparations for 2 weeks, unfurled the flag on a car prop during Lamar's set, ran around the field, and was quickly removed by security, exposing a significant security lapse at the event. While banned from NFL stadiums for life, he has not been charged. Nantambu maintains the protest was not part of Lamar's performance, stating that the rapper had no prior knowledge of his actions. Despite facing backlash, Nantambu has been praised on social media for drawing attention to the conflicts and standing up for Muslims in these regions. Did you notice this during the halftime performance?
If I was him, I wouldn't have no regrets neither.
Also, did anybody notice how DJ Mustard had 2 flags on his shoulder, but they look like they were backwards? And no, it's not a "F you to America." It's actually an ode to us charging and assaulting towards war. It's called the reverse field flag, like this. It's supposed to represent the wind blowing when a soldier is advancing towards his enemy. So that shit was tough. It was tough. Also, did anybody...
This man told us, you would not get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of the loo. That is proving to be so true because the people who are hating on this, either A, it wasn't for you, or B, you didn't understand it. Some of us might have came for the Drake beef, you know, but we are staying for the revolution that he is calling for. True art, true poetry, true influence is being able to dissect the art and talk about it for years to come. I mean, God, I could write a dissertation just on the TV off part of the set. He made some of it over, but some of it I didn't catch until the 3rd, 4th, 5th watch. Sorry, this is a blurry photo, it's a screenshot, but one of those being the A minor flag that was going on in the background. When the flag symbolism turned their backs on each other. When they were making counterclockwise motions saying we're going back in time, we're reverting. Lights that said going the wrong way. Even those saying it was boring, honestly are just proving the concept of y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance. The direct reference to the revolution will not be televised, him saying it will be televised, because it is right now. However, I am admitting that Say Drake with a grin directly to the camera, because he knows he was watching, was my favorite part of the show.
Say Drake.
Did y'all notice this, bruh? So Kendrick Lamar decided to perform Peekaboo, which is interesting because he could have performed a Hey Now or something like that that's charting higher than Peekaboo, right? But I noticed he performed this song standing in a giant X. Do y'all remember the theory that was going around about the song Peekaboo? About how it was a reference to how Drake possibly had something to do with the assassination of XXXTentacion? I didn't know how much I believed in that theory, even though some of the points made they kind of made sense. Not to mention, I feel like it's kind of, obvious, especially because Drake's name was brought up in that case. You see what I'm saying? But Kendrick Lamar is kind of basically like, there's no way this is coincidental. This can't be coincidental. You see, especially with somebody as intentional as Kendrick Lamar. For people to go around and talk about these theories and then he performs Peekaboo, a song he didn't have to perform, inside a giant X. Let's say hypothetically Drake ends up getting caught up for that. This just gains so much more points for the halftime show. Does Kendrick know things and he's setting up Easter eggs for the future? This is crazy. If you love Kendrick Lamar and you love that Super Bowl performance, you're gonna love this video I just dropped on YouTube. Click the link in my bio to check it out.
It's very possible. He's a calculated person. Very subliminal.
From gutting a GNX to turning the field into a game controller, here's how Kendrick Lamar's incredible Super Bowl halftime show came to life. Lamar and his creative director Mike Carson came up with the concept. To make the Grammy-winning artist vision happen, the team worked hand-in-hand with art director Shelly Rogers. She solved big stage problems for everyone, from Beyonce to Lady Gaga, and she won an Emmy for her work on Rihanna's halftime show in 2023. Putting together any halftime show is no easy feat. You have to get all of the staging, lights, dancers, and the artists themselves onto the field in 7.5 minutes, and then get them all off 6 minutes after the final note. Not to mention, you have to do all of this without screwing up the turf in front of an expected audience of around 120 million people. Lamar's show required more than 50 carts of staging and equipment, each weighing between 1,500 and 3,500 pounds, to be rolled out in the center of the Superdome. To protect the field, the carts rode on specially designed wheels so the playing surface remained ready for the game's second half. But setup wasn't the only hurdle the team had to conquer. The GNX for Lamar's show was hard to find, especially after he dropped an album with the car's name. But after one near mishap and a lot of research, they were able to find one thanks to Eric Eastland from All Access, the company responsible for fabricating the stage for Sunday's show. They gutted the vehicle to make room for the small army of dancers who joined Lamar on the stage, which was inspired by a PlayStation-style controller. The performance was intended to portray Lamar's life as a video game, and it did just that. And while the car's street legal days are over, Lamar's performance in the GNX now go down in history.
It's crazy how so many days of preparation, so much time and energy and money goes into such a small window of performance.
Now this next part is going to be a little bit long, and that is because I'm about to break down the revolution will not be televised. And if you have never heard the poem/song, you're going to hear it today.
Revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Someone better squabble.
Yeah, y'all thought it was cute. You know, Not Like Us is a bop or whatever. And this is one hell of a time, a Super Bowl halftime performance, to put somebody on TV in front of the entire world. And you chose Kendrick Lamar. I wouldn't have trusted Kendrick after he had Beyonce kicking that water up like that. I don't know what the NFL was thinking about. So, if you are not familiar, here's the poet that is responsible for the revolution will not be televised. Kendrick said the revolution is going to be televised. Y'all did this. Y'all put it on TV. Touch right here and hit so it'll go faster because this is long.
I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least, somebody went through a hell of a lot of trouble to make sure that when we looked things up, we wouldn't fare too well. And we would come up with totally unreliable pictures of ourselves. But I compiled what few facts I could, such as they are, to see if we could find out a little bit of something. And this is what I got so far. First, white folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there. The white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down? And just to prove all of their suspicions, well, didn't take too long. They found out that there were whole tribes of people in plain sight running around with no clothes on. That's right. The men, the women, the young, and the old righteous folks covered their eyes, and no time was spent considering the environment. Hell no, this just wasn't civilized. And another piece of information they had, or at least this is what we were taught, is that unlike the civilized people of Europe, these tribal units actually fought. And yes, there were some crude implements, and yes, there was primitive art, and yes, they were masters of hunting and fishing, and courtesy came from the heart. And yes, there was love and medicine, religion, intertribal communication by drum, but no paper, no pencils, no other utensils, and hell, these folks never even heard of a gun. And this is why the colonies came, to stabilize the land, because the dark continent had copper and gold, and the discoverers had themselves a plan. They would discover all the places with promise. You didn't need no titles and deeds. Then they would appoint people to make everything legal to sanction the trickery and greed. And back in the jungle, when the natives got restless, they would call it guerrilla attack. And they would never describe that the folks finally got wise and decided that they would fight back. And still, we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich. And the game goes on eternally. Unity kept just beyond reach. Egypt and Libya used to be in Africa. They've now been moved to the Middle East. There are examples galore, I assure you. But if interpreting were left up to me, I'd be sure every time folks knew this version wasn't mine, which is why it is called His Story.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is why I say the Uncle Tom double entendre. We have, as a culture, adopted a lot of the ideologies from our oppressors. Like, we have perpetuated their version of history because we don't look anything up. In the more recent years, we've, become privy to certain texts that we can read to figure out our history. But for the most part, everybody get their information off of the internet. And anybody can post anything on the internet. So the whole time y'all thinking Uncle Tom is derogatory. Uncle Tom did the work. But while the white people is bobbing their heads and fully entertained by this Super Bowl halftime performance, and because they feel like black people just love this Kendrick Lamar song, the message went completely over their fucking heads. You guys are going to see these people get on this here internet and try to give their synopsis of this performance. But again, all they do is consume our content and paraphrase that shit, make a video, and get 1 million views. It is full circle. Then he tells you, turn the TV off because the revolution will not be televised. Everybody is not supposed to have access to the revolution. Nobody but us.
They acting bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my own,
I think he is symbolizing a game is being played here. We are playing the game. But I think that this also represents control. A controller, because you use a controller to play the game. Who is the controller?
Control. Control. Control.
Yep, without any questions, I already know that they're going to be teaching us in college about that Kendrick Lamar halftime Super Bowl performance, so I already did my dissertation, bitch. I already did the full thing. Let me tell you guys what I have uncovered about this insane fucking performance. So to lay the groundwork, this whole performance is Kendrick Lamar playing a video game. And right here we have the X, the square, the circle, and the triangle, which is the 4 buttons and a PlayStation control remote. And it starts off with him selecting the square. Then Uncle Sam tells everybody that this is the great American game. Obviously, Uncle Sam is a symbol of American power structure, and this is alluding to the fact that America is like a game, and some of us are winners and losers, some of us rig the system, some of us cheat, but at the end of the day, we're all in this American game, and Kendrick Lamar is trying to beat the game, trying to fight the system. Then inside of the square, Kendrick Lamar starts singing on top of this GNX car, which in the 1980s represented power and rebellion. Then out of the car that represents defiance comes out a whole bunch of people dressed in red, white, and blue. These people not only represent the American people, but it also represents different aspects of our society. The red could be the conservatives, the blue could be the liberal, and the white is the elite, wealthy individuals, because clothing, historically, white has been associated with rich people just because it's always cost more to maintain white clothing because it can get stained more and it just requires higher maintenance. There's only one time in the entire performance where Kendrick Lamar mentions the word government, and it was in his first song. And in that exact moment that he says government, a white dressed person shakes hand with a red dressed person, which symbolizes wealthy elites shaking hands and making deals with the conservative power structure in America. Corruption. Then he goes on to say that the revolution is about to be televised. Y'all chose the right place but the wrong guy, which basically means that the United States is long overdue for a revolution, that we deserve change, right? But we chose the wrong guy, meaning that the change and the person that is leading the change and the direction of that change is wrong. We need change, but not that kind of change. We need a revolution, just not that kind of revolution. And obviously, it's going to be televised because of the technology that exists currently. This is directly towards Donald Trump and Elon Musk. After mentioning that, he starts singing Squabble Up, which pretty much is a song about standing your ground and standing up and fighting back. Then Uncle Sam comes back to the picture, which, remember, he's the one that's controlling the game, says that Kendrick Lamar is playing the game too loud, that he is being too reckless, that he's being ghetto, that he needs to calm down. And this is something that the power structure in America has used historically to control marginalized voices and make society believe that these people shouldn't be heard because they're too reckless and they're too disruptive. I'm literally getting chills. Okay, so after Uncle Sam says that, Kendrick Lamar is now standing in between a split American flag, which pretty much says that that kind of rhetoric that Uncle Sam is spewing is divisive to the country. And he does this singing the song Humble, which he's basically saying to the power structure in America to sit down and reflect on the division that they're causing in our country and to be more humble. Okay, so then now we're under a street light where he's speaking out against the system, right? And this symbolizes Americans going to the streets and voicing their concerns and their opinions. And Uncle Sam comes back and says, "Keeper, take a life."
Keeper, deduct one life.
That speaks for itself, right? You're trying to instill fear into people so they can stop speaking up by committing acts of violence against these marginalized groups that are voicing their concerns and speaking out against the system. So we officially left the square and now we're inside the X, where Kendrick Lamar starts to sing the song Peekaboo. Within video games, the X symbol on the PlayStation remote means to confirm something. So by singing the song Peekaboo inside the X, this basically means that Kendrick is choosing to reveal unhidden truths about people, about society, about our political structure that exists currently. And he uses this moment to tease They Not Like Us.
I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love the suit.
What song?
Yeah, that song.
He like teases it again. That is uncovering truths, right? That song was a diss track against Drake. But this is beyond just the Drake diss track. It goes to the larger message of uncovering deeper truths. And we move on to the triangle. In a video game, the triangle is the direction you want to go. So, and in the triangle is SZA, who is singing the song Luther. I first gotta say she a bad bitch, but this song right here is about moving towards the direction of pursuing love and social change, and she's doing this within the triangle, which makes perfect sense. Now we have people marching down the street, which obviously represents peaceful protest, but they're also marching around the circle. The circle inside of a PlayStation remote represents rejection or cancellation. Inside the circle, Kendrick starts singing the song All the Stars, where he talks about how confrontation ain't something new to him and how he will always fight back even though people try to attack him. This is done within the circle, which is, again, rejection. He is rejecting people trying to diminish him. He is rejecting people trying to shut him up. He is fighting back. But this is a soft song. He's not yelling, he's not being aggressive, he's not speaking loud. It is a soft spoken song. In many ways, you can say that this song is like a peaceful protest because it's so soft. And then Uncle Sam is so happy because they're being so calm, they're being so soft, even though they're talking about these like really important issues that are degrading them and diminishing them. They're doing it peacefully, they're doing it softly. So Uncle Sam is happy. He's saying how he's glad that they're calm. But then he gets mad because Kendrick then changes his tone and loudly stated how you can try to rig the system, but you can't fake influence, which basically means that no matter how many times wealthy people have tried to rig the system in their favor, they could never truly win real loyalty and real support. And now you can see that there are people occupying each symbol of the game, the circle, the triangle, the X, and the square. Which basically means that in order to beat the game, we all need to occupy these spaces. Then he ends the performance with a call to action by telling you to turn off the TV and disconnect from the propaganda and the brainwashing that occurs through the mainstream media as they influence you through the power structures that influence the media. Insane. Genius.
Let me know what y'all think about that breakdown.
Kendrick's Super Bowl performance has upset a whole lot of people.
Typical Kendrick Lamar dumb stuff.
The stadium goes dark. 9 boxes are illuminated in the center of the field. Flashes of a triangle, square, X and O of a game controller appear in the corners. Then a spotlight hits the middle square.
It's your uncle, Sam.
Hold up. A black Uncle Sam with Donald Trump in the crowd. Shit. The camera cuts to Kendrick standing on 1987 black Buick GNX. Of course, GNX is the title of his most recent album, but 1987 is also the year Kendrick was born. As he crouches motionless on the hood of the car, the only movement you see comes from the swinging pendant around his neck. When you look closer, it's a lowercase letter A, which I guess in Kendrick's world can only symbolize A minor. When he finally stands up, he has a warning for us all.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
I really don't know what he said. Maybe Jay-Z did pick the wrong guy, because Kendrick wasn't there to perform any Lollipop songs.
Yeah.
dressed in bell-bottom jeans and a fitted black cap to the back, which if you look closer, has the emblem of a feather pinned to it. And for those who don't know, a feather on a cap symbolizes an achievement or honor that somebody can be proud of. Then there's the jacket. What many viewers initially thought was a Florida Gators jacket is in fact a custom piece that reads Glory across the front. Yes, Glory is the last track on this Gen X album, but in Spanish it also means glory. Now just as Kendrick begins to hit his flow, he's interrupted by Uncle Sam.
Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up!
Kendrick and his crew tighten up, nod their heads in obedience, only to reveal a formation that resembles the American flag. Uncle Sam again interrupts, calling him a culture cheat code, before Kendrick says,
I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love the sue.
He teases Not Like Us, but instead brings out the first of Drake's ex-girlfriends, SZA. After performing all the stars, Uncle Sam shows his approval.
That's what America wants, nice and calm.
But then Kendrick pops back up.
40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music.
40 Acres and a Mule was a promise to give freed slaves land for economic independence, which as we all know, has never materialized.
I'm nothing in reality.
The icing on the cake arrives when they cut from Kendrick to reveal the second of Drake's ex-girlfriends, Serena Williams, a native of Compton who, if you remember, did the exact same Crip walk in 2012. This moment was met with disapproval by many onlookers at the time, just as Kendrick's performance also has.
Roger Goodell should be fired.
Question: how many more Super Bowl halftime shows do you think they'll let Jay-Z select?
His breakdown was real somatic and had a nice climactic flow. You know what I mean? Like, shout out my guy.
I just find it funny how y'all beg for celebrities to use their platform and to speak up on issues that's going on in the world. But when they do, it's a problem if it's not done how you want them to do it or when you want them to do it. Like, I did not want to get on here and speak on the Kendrick Lamar, like the Super Bowl and stuff like that, just because I'm not finna go back and forth with you about Nathan years. But I've been seeing the argument that, oh, people come to the Super Bowl to be entertained. Like, that's the point of the Super Bowl, is for entertainment. But I know that y'all are not Kendrick Lamar fans, or you've never listened to a Kendrick Lamar album. If you thought that Kendrick was finna get up there and use his platform to shuck and jive for them folks in the crowd, to please them. His whole discography has never been about pleasing them or making them happy or trying to make them feel comfortable. He wants to make them feel as uncomfortable as possible. They're saying, oh, you know, that wasn't the place to do it. Like, do that message or do that performance at the BET Awards or whatever. The Super Bowl is the most watched thing on TV ever. He had 133.5 million eyes on him. Like, is that not the perfect place to make a statement? To send a message? Like, do y'all not realize how heavily censored our media is right now? People around the world were able to see that message. Like, Kendrick knows that his work of art is not for everybody. He literally says it in Whacked Out Murals. Everybody not gonna like you. He knows that. And quite frankly, all these takes that y'all giving, I'm pretty sure he saw it coming from a mile away. But it's just like, I understand why some of y'all had to get left behind. I understand. And it's like, people are saying, oh, him performing at the Super Bowl and sending that message in front of them people that don't really care, it's not going to change anything. Like, what is that going to do for me? That message wasn't for them. It's for you. He's telling y'all it's time to wake up. It's time to get into community and start doing something. Y'all sit behind these TVs and these phones and just chat about, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, but nobody is getting into action. That's the whole purpose of Turn the TV Off song. Like, I know it's going over a lot of y'all heads, but I feel like especially some of these people that have a big platform and the narratives that they are sending out, it's just, girl. And side note, not even making this about the Drake and Kendrick beef, people saying he spent his whole performance talking about Drake. You can't be that lost, because if you thought that whole 12-minute performance was about Drake, baby,
That man literally performed one song for 30 seconds talking about that man. And I, being a Kendrick Lamar fan, don't even feel like he really wanted to perform that song. He could have cared less to perform that song. He did it because y'all wanted him to do it. Y'all talking about him, oh, is he going to perform the song? Is he going to perform the song? And then Mr. Man sending the lawsuits and stuff like that. So he like, you know what? I got to do it. I'm just going to be petty because that's just how I am. The way I'm ready for this to blow over, I'm ready for this because y'all have been disappointing me. You are disappointing me.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't all about Drake. Like, come on now.
Well, after the Super Bowl, a lot of Republicans have come out complaining that there was not one white person in Kendrick Lamar's performance. So now you're interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when it's all white people, you're not interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion. But when it's all black people, you suddenly are. But we make everything about race?
Yeah, because it's like, man, it's still America. It was all Americans, right?
Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show was racist. There wasn't a single white performer. I thought you wanted this country to be a meritocracy. That wasn't a performance based on merit. It was a DEI performance. The Super Bowl should have hired someone like Kid Rock to perform. Kendrick Lamar has won multiple Grammys and a Pulitzer Prize. What qualifications does Kid Rock have? It's not about qualifications. That's what a meritocracy is. It's about the children. Imagine how all the white kids who were looking forward to the Super Bowl halftime show feel after not seeing themselves represented in it. White people are already overrepresented in positions of power, in those who hold the most generational wealth, in our corporations, in media. I'm pretty positive that white kids will not feel like their skin color will prevent them from doing certain things just because they weren't represented in the Super Bowl halftime show this year. Plus, I thought you hated representation. You freaked out when Ariel in The Little Mermaid was played by a black actress. You're a race traitor. Whatever, Grandpa. It's time for you to take your meds and go to bed.
Time to take your meds. She ready to put granddad ass to sleep.
He said, "I'm your Uncle Sam, welcome to the great American game." Then Kendrick pops out and he says the revolution will in fact be televised. You picked the right time but the wrong guy. And then goes immediately into squabble up. Then Uncle Sam comes back and he's like, no, too loud, too much, too rambunctious, you're not being acceptable enough. Samuel L. Jackson says tighten up, and it goes to like a formation of them in the colors of the flag in the flag formation. Tighten up immediately to the American flag because that's what America wants in the great American game, right? And then it divides and Kendrick is in the middle. Divided flag. And then it's going down the steps with be humble, like sit down, be humble. And then the flag is like on the field and then like gunshots sound and it like rips apart and people start, it's crazy. And then SZA comes out and then things are like a little bit more tame and relaxed. And I love SZA so much. She looked and sounded incredible. There was one riff, where everyone in the room was like, oh. And then Samuel L. Jackson comes back and he's like, much better, much more acceptable, don't screw it up. And before that, Kendrick had teased Not Like Us, and then he was like, but you know how they like to sue. But then as he's like, don't mess it up, you're literally almost at the end, then he starts Not Like Us. Then we get the Say Drake and all the A minors, and that's funny because like they cut the audience sound back in for that in the broadcast. And then Serena Williams comes out, which is funny because her and Drake used to date in the day, and then they broke up, and apparently I think he dissed her and her husband, which is crazy. But also then she's crip walking. And this might be too much of a reach, like this definitely could be too much of a reach. But Crips used to use like crip walking to kind of like communicate to the other ones what the next like hit target would be when they started getting infiltrated like with wires and everything like that. So not only was she like, this is the side that I'm on, and also F you Drake, but literally like dancing on his grave. Like that's what that was to me. And then it ends with TV off, which makes so much sense. And then like the click sound effect at the end, love that. And then it goes up and it just says game over. That's it. And he brought up 40 Acres and a Mule, and then he said this is much bigger than music. He's so incredible. If I wanted to have anybody perform in front of that god-awful, ugly orange man, it would be Kendrick. It would be Kendrick because he does things like this. Oh my god, I love him. And I love SZA. And all of the dancers, loved them. I usually like the Super Bowl dancers, but they were incredible. He was incredible as always, making such strong comments as always. He said, wake up, get up. Anyway, that's it.
She really enjoyed that. Like, she really enjoyed that. That's what's up. Shout out.
The Kendrick Lamar performance, what's your thoughts?
America's a game, and we all playing it.
The Kendrick Lamar halftime show, what do you think the symbolism was behind that?
He's dragging this shit, but he did do his thing during the performance. Saw the whole, like, when bro said, "Hey Drake," and he did that little, like, evil smile, you know what I'm saying? I saw that shit. That shit was funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Serena Williams out there, feel me, with the shitty crip walk. Turf Fiends out there, you feel me? I seen everybody, Dummy, Beaters, all the partners was out there.
Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
Eat the rich, eat the rich.
He bringing everybody else together, though. Everybody against Drake.
Why this had to, you know what I'm saying, begin with Drake for him to get a little buzz, you know what I'm saying?
Are you Drake lazing right now?
No, hold on. It's a swimming pool full of liquor and we die.
Lamar's halftime show, what do you think the symbolism was behind that?
It was about unity and coming together despite all odds.
I thought it was a good show. I think Serena Williams crip walking on Drake's grave was pretty crazy.
I thought it was fire. You know, I heard some people, they had their little critiques. You know, you can't satisfy everybody. Sam Jackson, you know, being Uncle Sam. It's like a critique on America. The last cut where it says game over, it's like that's a pun for like the NFL, but also for the beef too.
Kendrick Lamar halftime performance.
The best part of that is like when he rocking the lowercase A chain. That's some music shit. That's an A minor right there. I like that.
Kendrick Lamar halftime performance.
Kendrick Lamar is not a performer. He's a poet. So of course we're not getting performance, we're getting poetry. So that's exactly what it was. That's why it was boring. I personally thought it was boring, but I understood the message and it was very powerful.
Hey yo, shout out to all the random people, man. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
This is what the Super Bowl halftime show really meant, and it was filled with a lot of dark symbolism and meaning. To the stage, which is shaped as a controller, representing how everything is controlled.
They try to break the game, but you can't fake influence.
As Kendrick performs, he instantly starts to rap about culture divide and the government. They show an American flag, but the flag is divided. Not only that, the people on the flag is doing Masonic hand gesture. This signifies for help in a situation of danger and distress, and we can clearly see Kendrick is always hanging with the people dressed in white, as well as only the people in the inner circle survives. Then see the crowd spelling out the words "warning, wrong way," symbolizing the direction that America is going in. Now we also see a hanging man in a light post. This looks exactly like the tarot card of the hanging man, which means surrender and sacrifice, letting go to gain something greater. Kendrick then takes his shots at Drake with his A minor necklace, the flag with the same A minor Serena creep walking on a grave. The stage mimics the GTA cheat code for max health and armor, which is also looking like a prison field, Temple of Solomon layout, and numerologically fits the cube of Saturn perfectly, but whatever, and it ends with the crowd saying, "Game over." Comment book to learn more about consciousness.
That was an interesting take. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that one.
The halftime show wasn't supposed to be entertainment. It was a message laced with symbolism about our government and control. In the lyrics, the revolution about to be televised. Right time for the wrong guy. Kendrick warned the audience to pay close attention. Samuel L. Jackson dressed as Uncle Sam, a national personification of the United States, symbolizing our government and our military. Uncle Sam represents patriotism and national identity. But with Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam, Kendrick was making a statement. He was telling his people to get ready. The division of the American flag highlighted the division in America. The Crips dressed in blue, the Bloods dressed in red. Together, they symbolized our country coming together in unity. The stars and the stripes were divided, illuminating the division in America. Serena Williams' hands shone, lifting the people up. This was more than just a halftime show.
Hey yo, my mans looked like he was having a proud dad moment, real talk. Like he felt good about that performance. Yo, big shout out to all my content creators, my digital neighbors, my virtual family. Cause it's a wrap on this one, but we can link up on the next one. Till then we shine like one sun, because everybody is everyone. Concept.
Welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. I just wanna let you know you're welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Put your comments down below. the video. This here is a TikTok reaction show. Don't give you the contents of this episode.